Alright, that's it. I have a bone to pick with all you motherfuckers. After working on the spectacular Ace Attorney series, the game's creator, Takumi, decided to work on a brand new and unrelated property which would release in Japan in 2010, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective.
Did you say a game about ghosts?
Hell yeah, I did. Oh no. While Ace Attorney was about proving someone innocent after a crime took place, Ghost Trick instead involves you playing as a ghost, creating a sequence of events and essentially your own Rube Goldberg machine to stop a murder from even happening in the first place. Just like Ace Attorney, the game is similarly excellent, and nobody bought it. In its first week releasing to Japan, Ghost Trick was the top-selling DS game with 24,000 copies sold, and then it was quickly buried in following weeks. In fact, the game sold so poorly, Capcom attributed its poor Q1 sales of 2010 primarily to the underperforming Lost Planet 2, with Ghost Trick's poor performance in Japan not helping. The game sold similarly poorly in the US when it released to the DS in 2011. So, all I'm saying is, it's your fault this game didn't sell well, we'll probably never see a sequel!
But Dave, you didn't buy the game either.
How do you know so much about me? While the game didn't sell well on the Nintendo DS, Capcom also released Ghost Trick Phantom Detective to iOS in 2012. And that is how I got my hands on the game. So let's talk about Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, a game that deserves far more attention than it initially received. The game starts simple enough, with you dead. So that's it! Brilliant writing and direction by Takumi. See you guys next time. Oh, so somehow your soul is still existing as a ghost. And not only that, but there's a woman about to get shot by a man right next to your corpse. A strange voice informs you that you now have special ghost powers, where you can possess certain inanimate objects that have cores and manipulate them with the powers of the dead, by performing a ghost trick. The first thing you possess is a crossing gate, which you're able to use to knock the gun away from the man pointing it and help the girl escape. Major success! We did it! Oh. After trying to possess your own dead body and finding out you can't, the same gunman who shot the girl knocks you down into a basement level of the junkyard you're in and confirms to someone he shot the girl. And it's in this basement level you find out who that mysterious voice was. A lamp. Wait a second. A lamp? Who are you? Why are you in my house?
To play a ghost trick with you?
Ghosts don't play games. As it turns out, this lamp's name is Ray, and Ray somehow knows how the ghost powers work. You have a certain distance you can extend out to transfer your soul onto different items' cores, allowing you to use them. Not only that, but by heading over to the dead girl, who's also fallen to the same level as you can find her deceased soul, which is currently unconscious, and even rewind time to 4 minutes before her death. And how is that possible, you might be asking? We're talking about the powers of the dead here. Doesn't have to make sense. Fair enough. Apparently, by watching the scene in full, we find out the hitman is supposed to wipe out all traces of Temsik from the country, which is why he needs to kill her. He mentions his name is Nearsighted Jigo because his eyesight sucks, and hence why he's using a shotgun, and... What the fuck, Ray? I thought we were going to save her! And you can rewind these 4 minutes as many times as you like, too. Are you into snuff films or something like that? Is that the point here? Are we just rewinding time so you can continually watch her die over and over again?
Dude, calm down. He was just explaining how the mechanic works.
Well, I don't trust you either. Lamp! Rewinding time again, you now start in the spot where the girl died, and where you'd possessed her core in order to rewind time. This introduces us to the way the game works. Only 4 minutes left before she dies! You'd better try and get to her as fast as you can! Yes, thank you, Ray! I know! Anyways, the idea is that the last seconds of her life are counting down! I get it! I know! You're really enjoying this, aren't you? Anyways, this all introduces us to the main mechanics of the game. By utilizing your two abilities of being able to transfer a short distance between objects and performing a ghost trick to use that object in various ways, you have to figure out how to stop a person from dying, in this case the red-headed girl. You have a 4-minute time limit to do this, with things changing throughout those 4 minutes that affect how you solve this puzzle. Going into the ghost world pauses time, so you can think for a bit and figure out where to go, and it creates for a totally unique experience as you quickly try to manipulate objects to prevent a death. So, with that knowledge, you have to work your way back up to where the girl is about to die. The solution is to roll a tire in order to prop up a mannequin, then open the door of a refrigerator, where a blender will roll out, and then use a fan to catch the cord of a flagpole into the blender, which you can then turn on to then head up the flag and back outside. It's like the solution is just staring you in the face. Once you're finally at the top, you can activate a crane to... This game is great! I'm not saying I murdered someone to stop her from getting murdered, but... yeah, I think he's dead. And now that the girl is saved, it's on to the main mystery of the game, which is... who are you?
I'm Kelsey, you know? Your friend?
Not you! I'm talking about... him. You still have no idea of who you are. And there's even worse news. According to Ray, when the sun rises in the morning, I'm afraid you're going to cease to exist? So can we just, find a dead body and repeat those last 4 minutes of them dying over and over again? Because that'd be good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to die. I'm sorry. I guess the least we can do is find out who we are. And according to Ray, the best way to do that is follow the girl around, as she's the most likely to know who you were since she was there when you died. The girl who you saved comes downstairs to where you now are, and the junkyard phone rings again, now with a new present, so the girl answers the line. And, as it turns out, you have another ghost power, which is traveling through phone lines. So you can find out who hired that hitman, Nearsighted Jigo, the man who seemingly called for your murder. That dude? He's the one? This is the first time I've ever seen someone whose eyebrows are a part of their hairline. Also, why are all the evil people so far blue? Nearsighted Jigo is blue, and now both of the people in this evil headquarters. Is the race of Skeeters from Doug evil or something? At the evil Skeeter dude's place, we find out a couple important things. For one, the girl's name is Lynn, and they were, in fact, trying to kill her. And for two, we find out her name is Sissel. We seemingly had a deal with them, and they don't trust me. Oh yeah, and since Nearsighted Jigo failed to kill Lynn, they're now sending out another hitman. One Step Ahead Tango. Ah yes, the Go family, the most prestigious of the hitman line. You've got Nearsighted Jigo, One Step Ahead Tango, Go-Go, and of course, Mungo Jerry. You got women on your mind. The button chops give it away. One Step Ahead Tango calls Eyebrow Dude to let him know that he's in Lynn's apartment, and also securing us a line into Lynn's place in order to definitely not creep and hang out in the apartment to just, watch her sleep. Because who would ever do something like that? And back in Lynn's apartment, we find a dead dog.
No!
Oh, this is when you're upset?
You have to save him!
There's a girl tied up and in trouble! Nothing, huh? Interesting.
Meh.
Alright, I guess we'll go ahead and save the pupper. So, as per usual, we'll go talk to his soul and... Whoa! Miss Camila! Miss Camila's in trouble! So, apparently the dog, Missle's soul, is actually conscious, and by rewinding time to save him, his soul can follow us and help us out with the puzzle of how to save his own life and help out the girl Camila. Here we can once again watch the last 4 minutes of Missle's life, which involves an angry neighbor, Camila wearing headphones that are so loud she can't hear Missle barking, and her eating an entire bowl of donuts. It's part of a well-balanced diet! For breakfast, we have M&Ms. For lunch, cookies. And of course, dinner. How do you think I stay in such good shape? And of course, Missle ends up getting shot, which leads us to our first real mission outside of the tutorial. As you can rewind time as many times as you'd like, this portion ends up being more about discovery, with you needing to go through and figure out what various items you can use a ghost trick on, how each item affects one another, and find out how to get around the room, as that's a puzzle within itself with your limited reach. Once you finish that, it's time to figure out the puzzle. While the game does give you various optional clues by looking at a character's thought bubbles, the solutions usually present themselves by figuring out how each ghost trick slightly changes the area and how they play off of each other. For example, if you shake the donut bowl, a donut will drop to the ground, attracting a mouse. You can then open a cabinet door to knock the mouse away. And while this initially doesn't do anything, it gives you a clue. That being, Missile barks at the mouse and Camila will go to stop him. So if you can figure out how to knock the donuts down on the other side of the room, and then open a different cabinet, you can knock the mouse underneath the couch, where Missile will go and Camila will follow, where they'll both be found hiding and out of sight when One Step Ahead Tango comes into the room. And with that, our first mission is a success! Sort of. One Step Ahead Tango gets a call and discovers Lynn is still in the junkyard. So it's back to the junkyard! Why would you keep an open-top fish tank right next to your electronics? Who even does that? So, time to find another phone, and how else but with ghost tricks. This leads us into the neighbor's room, who turns out to be a crazy lady who's busy writing a shitty romance novel about a prime minister seducing a married lady. With her phone, we can find out she's angry at her husband, but no time for that! We have to go save Lynn, and back to the junkyard, we find out she's been taken into custody by the cops, and they're examining my dead body with a blue doctor. Look, I'm not trying to be a Skeeter cyst, alright? I'm just noting that he's blue. Wait a sec. Well, we detectives shouldn't be standing around gossiping. Never know who might be listening. Like me. Odd blue doctor? He's examining my corpse? There's something off about him? God damn it! I knew this game was racist against blues and they're all evil! What would that make? The Blue Man Group! Either way, we meet the ever-flamboyant Inspector Cabanella, and head of the Special Investigation Unit. Through him, we discover both that the cops are on an important stakeout tonight, and Lynn is being held at the Junkyard Superintendent's office where she should be safe. Damn it, Lynn! Stop dying! Right next to the junkyard, we find the Super's office, where Lynn has apparently been shot by One Step Ahead Tango. This time, similar to Missile, her spirit wakes up and we can actually talk to her. Time to finally get some answers, like who the hell Sissel is and why he was killed. But all she can remember is that she doesn't know who you are. You ask for her help in exchange for saving her, and she responds she can't promise she'll help. Cool. For whatever reason, Sissel decides this means he can trust her, and decides to help her out anyways. So, in rewinding the time, we find out that Lynn was shot by One Step Ahead Tango through a window. The only way to get back outside is by the phone line, but you can only travel through a phone line during rewind mode if someone is in the middle of a call. And the first call? Why, it's the chicken kitchen! Everyone's favorite spot for eating chicken underneath a giant oversized baked chicken. So better avoid traveling to that trap, as it won't lead to anything. And, Peace, bitch!
Help her out, Dave.
I thought all you cared about was the dog.
Just give me the game and let me play.
Okay, lamp. Okay, so if you wait a little longer, the cop guarding Lynn will get a call from one of the detectives investigating the case outside. So we can use that to travel to the junkyard and stop the hitman from killing Lynn by smashing him with giant crates. And once again, Lynn is saved. Damn it, Lynn! How the fuck do you keep dying? I'm tired of doing cut my line off jokes! Look at what you're doing to my show! We did it! And hence why he's using a shotgun, and where she should be safe. And once again, Lynn is saved. This time, to the theme of the game, it was a Rube Goldberg-style machine that kills Lynn. As she tries to hide from the cops who are investigating her, Lynn sneaks into the Super's basement office and sets off the machine by turning on the light. This causes a fan to spin, a ball to knock over various objects, light a hovering Cupid arrow, and shoot a candle that ultimately leads to a gun shooting Lynn, and why is this in anyone's basement? In saving Lynn from the Rube Goldberg machine, she escapes and requests you check on a certain prisoner and check what's written on their prison chalkboard, which states their schedules for the day. Prisoner D99. So we head into some sort of special prison, where all the prisoners we hear about have been imprisoned based on mysterious circumstances. One is a rock star who suddenly started espousing secrets he never could have known during the middle of a concert. Another is someone who mysteriously ended up in the Metro police station with a flamethrower, loves curry, and whose head looks like a giant sausage? That's what I looked like before the surgery. Also, holy shit, these prisoners are set! Best prison ever! Now I want to go to prison, or be a ghost! What kind of influence is this game having on me? We find prisoner D99, who supposedly murdered his own wife, painting away in his cell. His chalkboard is blank, implying that he's going to be put to death. Not only that, but what he's been painting is you. Also, in returning from the prison to inform Lynn, we discover another shocking revelation. Inspector Cabanella watching a tape from the junkyard showing Lynn shooting Sissel and killing him. And not only that, but remember the chicken kitchen? Well, Lynn is dead again. Now that's a shock. Even more shockingly, there's more of them. You know who I'm talking about. Blue people. And wouldn't you know it, they're doing some shady shit and the ones the police are trying to snoop on. Of course it would be blue people. Remember the kindly wizard who was wrongly attacked for no reason? Blue people. Remember penises in your face during superhero movies? Blue people. Remember overly acclaimed 3D movies that were alright, but not as good as everyone seemed to say? Blue people. Remember friends of—
Shut up! Dave, are you okay?
You saved me. Even though you're blue?
Sure.
Alright, well, time for more ghost trick.
Can I play?
Ghost can't play ghost trick. At this point, I'm going to speed through and talk about some pretty heavy spoilers as this is more of a story-based game. So, before I do that, I really adore this game, and if you're thinking about playing it, I honestly recommend stopping this video and just picking up on iOS or 3DS and then come back later, because it deserves it. And hopefully, the more support it gets, maybe Shu Takumi will have a chance to keep making more original games. While the game is a little bit of trial and error, which can be annoying during puzzle solving, it's still fun to have something so unique from a major game developer. Similar to the Ace Attorney games, the writing in Ghost Trick is fantastic, and discovering the ins and outs of the mystery of the game are both satisfying and fun. My honest fear with making this video is spoiling those surprises for someone new, but it's a game I enjoyed so much I really think it deserves more spotlight. So let's briefly peruse through the second half of the game. The game sees you busting prisoner D99 or Inspector Jowd out of prison. I gotta say, rolling like that is an impressive feat. Inspector Jowd, the roly-poly, who as it turns out is innocent of murdering his wife and was actually covering up for his daughter, Camila, who'd accidentally killed Jowd's wife and her mother with a birthday surprise, that being the Rube Goldberg machine we'd found earlier. Not only that, but more importantly, there's a manipulator who exists who would seem to have ghost trick powers similar to you, but can also control people. This manipulator is the one who caused everyone in the special prison to do the unlikely things they were able to do, and even crazier would seem to be none other than you, Sissel. He even manipulated Lynn into shooting himself, as we saw in the junkyard tape, and he can tell when another ghost is around by witnessing ghost tricks, making for a couple of intense and entertaining portions of the game where he'll directly address you, the player, as he's discovered there's a ghost and making the puzzles even more difficult to solve. So while you keep on thinking you're getting close to solving the mystery, it keeps on getting deeper and deeper. I mean, seriously, you end up on a sinking submarine. That's about as deep as it gets. We also discover that Temsik, which we heard about at the beginning of the game, is the name of a meteorite that crashed into a park and happened to kill Sissel, who had been using a child Lynn as a hostage to escape from the police, and in particular, Detective Jowd. This meteorite gave him the special ghost trick powers where he exists in a strange world in between life and death, and he has a vendetta against Jowd, Lynn, and everyone who was involved in his death, and as we find out, wrongful arrest of him for a crime he hadn't committed. So if not him, then who are you? You're a cat the whole time. That's the mystery. You're welcome. How did you not see it coming? No, I'm serious. It turns out you were a cat that Sissel took around with him, and you died when Sissel was manipulating Lynn into shooting him. As she was resisting his manipulation, her first shot hit his suitcase, which you happened to be in, and accidentally murdered you. So, there you go. You're a cat. The game concludes with you rewinding time all the way to Sissel's initial death and stopping him from dying by the meteorite, hence ending the entire chain of sad events that had started. Ghost Trick is an amazing game, and if you're a fan of Phoenix Wright games, I'd easily give it a recommendation. Just like reading a good book, when I first started playing this game, I couldn't put it down as I was so excited to find out what happens next. Even in replaying it for this show, I couldn't wait to come back home from work just to capture footage of the game and rediscover its characters, story, and mystery. Not only that, but we also get a return of Missile, who's once again died, but this time near the power of the meteorite, and has his own Ghost Trick powers, which are different from your own, allowing him to swap objects and create even more kinds of puzzles for the player. So there you go! You get to play as the dog.
Will you stop talking to the lamp?
Whoa! How long have you been here?
Dave, you invited me over.
Wanna play Ghost Trick? A huge thank you to everyone supporting me on Patreon. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. I know content's been less frequent recently, so thank you for sticking with me if you have. This month, I'd like to thank One-Eyed Sniper, Invidentia, Ryan Drawn, Jason Buck, and of course, every single other person who supports me.
Who's here?
I don't know. Hey. Wrong house?
That makes more sense.
Want to play Ghost Trick? Also, make sure to check out Kelsey Lewin. She does amazing retro, cool history videos and weird gaming history videos. I highly recommend her content. She's an awesome person. Definitely check that stuff out. See you guys next time. Peace.